ça, hop là. Alors, préparez-vous pour Plunderstorm. Warcraft Vostéfer. C'est parti. Ah, attendez, on set la qualité, hop, je mets 720. Peut-être 1080, allez, on va mettre 1080. Ça devrait pas trop laguer, on va voir ça quoi. Donc c'est parti, on va écouter. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ce truc?
Hey
Bonne
everyone,
dégustation de
welcome to
thé.
Wowcast. We have a very exciting topic today, and with me I have two special guests.
Hi, I'm Orlando Salvatore. I'm a lead software engineer on WoW.
Hi,
Ingénierie
Bethany. Happy to be
logicielle.
here. I'm Jeremy Fiesel. I'm Associate Game Director on
Il a
WoW.
les cheveux bleus.
So, what is that black flag on the roadmap for 2024?
So when we were thinking about what we wanted to deliver to the players in 2024, what we ended up landing on was that we wanted to do something a little bit different
Créer
than the
quelque chose
things that we
d'inédit
did
par rapport à ce que
previously
nous
in
avons fait
Dragonflight.
avec
So
Dragonflight.
that's
Non,
what
c'est
we're
pas
here
sur
to talk about
classique.
today.
Zut.
It's a brand
Il
new
s'agit d'un tout nouvel
event, and we're
événement.
calling it Plunderstorm.
Plunderstorm.
It is a pirate-themed, battle royale-inspired event that takes place entirely within.
What the fuck? Un Fortnite World of Warcraft? Qu'est-ce qu'ils nous ont fait là? Ça peut être une bonne chose. Hein. J'aime bien les Battle Royale. Pensez à Dark and Darker. Dark and Darker, ça fonctionne très bien et c'est sur l'univers médiéval fantastique.
World of Warcraft and is available for all active WoW subscribers. All that said, what do we feel like is like the 3 sentences that encapsulates the coolest parts about it?
So, Plunderstorm is World of Warcraft's take on a battle royale. It's an action-oriented game that lets you customize your build and basically your class every single match. You'll be
Changer de style. Changer de style à chaque partie. Donc t'as pas besoin de jouer paladin en fait. Enfin, t'as plusieurs styles ou classes.
able to start collecting abilities through chests
Whoa.
and by killing monsters, even
The
killing
fuck?
other players, all while trying to avoid a collapsing storm that is pushing players together. Whoever is the last team standing ends up
Mais
winning.
c'est fumé.
And you don't need to
C'est
go
pas
through a
mal du
quest
tout.
line, you don't need to go through any previous content to be able
Mais
to
les gars, c'est
access this.
génial.
This is immediately accessible for anybody who's an active WoW player.
Ok, actif.
We expect
Donc moi je
the
peux y
most
jouer.
casual player to be getting tons of plunder and tons of rewards every day. You might even say that the first minute or two are really a little bit more on the PvE side of things, where you're out fighting monsters, you're collecting a new set of
En fait, moi, j'ai pas acheté
abilities, there's a
Dragonflight.
huge amount of
Du
PvP
coup,
combat until
faudra
later
voir
on
si
in the
je
match. And I think it's
peux l'avoir.
important that that's like the core of the game is that plundering, getting out and collecting chests and collecting items, you don't have to be the last person standing on the map in order to get a whole bunch of rewards.
Okay.
Even just by dropping into the map and completing your starter quest, that gives you a bunch of rewards just for doing the usual things you would do for the first
Surtout,
couple
on
of
est des
minutes.
pirates en fait.
So no matter what,
On n'a
you
pas de
should
skin
exit that
particulier.
map with a bunch of plunder, even if you're not the last person standing. So as we were thinking about what the best framework for this would be,
Ouais.
it just came to us that, hey, it should actually
Si on
be
crée un
an
événement.
event that feels like it's a little bit outside of the main system. So we talked and we riffed about, hey, what would be the best theme for an event like that? We landed on pirates.
Who doesn't love pirates?
Because who doesn't love pirates?
Thanks. Je vais regarder après Dombi. Merci beaucoup. Hop. Je vais regarder ça. Tac, tac, tac. Hop.
It's a
I love
fun
pirates.
theme, but also there's all these different pirate crews around Azeroth, and you've got to ask yourself the question, if you're not the hero of Azeroth, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis?
That's a great question.
So we're gonna actually track some of our civilian NPC friends and play as those characters as one of the pirate crews within Azeroth that isn't the hero of Azeroth.
C'est
All
pas
of
mal, en
that
tout
came
cas.
together to give us this theme of Kegleg's crew and the pirate crew, plundering
Ok.
these relics that are being transported across the Highlands.
Bon, après, je connais pas trop l'or de ça, mais
When
je
players
voudrais
enter
bien voir à
this
quoi ça
new
ressemble.
event, they're going to notice that a lot of their core things that they're used to in World of Warcraft are different. When they get into the main menu, they'll have a brand new option available to them, which is the Plunderstorm button. They click on that, that takes them to a separate menu.
Alors, Pirate Clash in a Grand Battle Royale, you may queue alone or a friend. Dragonflight Plunderstorm. Ah on dirait que c'est un autre jeu en fait. Bah, c'est bien. Hein. Du coup, c'est bien. Peut-être qu'on va pouvoir y jouer, du coup, ça peut être bien. Winby, gagner en étant le dernier survivant, tuer des créatures et des ennemis pour level up et avoir des nouveaux spells, Améliore tes spells en lootant des copies de ces spells. Donc ouais, si tu veux un éclair de givre, tu récupères un éclair de givre pour de nouveau avoir plusieurs éclairs de givre. Use your heal ability when low on health. Ok, bon bah ça vous avez compris, hein. Vous soignez quand vos points de vie sont bas. Un stream, on réagit à l'actu du jeu, le Battle Royale. Tac, voilà.
which shows their character and their friends list.
Ok, il est
And they'll be
connecté à
able to invite
Dragonflight, vous
players
pouvez jouer sans
to
niveau
their
max.
party
Intéressant.
all through the main menu. Normally you need to go into the game to invite another player into your party, but through Plunderstorm, you're actually inviting them through the main menu. Once you're partied up, or if you want to go in solo, you queue up and load into a match. When you load into a match, you'll notice that you're invited into a pre-game lobby area where you're able to try out new abilities and try different mechanics that exist within Plunderstorm.
So one of the coolest things about designing Plunderstorm has been just figuring out where we can break the rules in World of Warcraft. TLDR, when you're thinking about changing up things that dramatically, it no longer made a huge amount of sense for your main character and everything associated with that character, all of your armor sets and all of your
Ça me fait penser un petit peu à WoW Ascension avec l'event de la Légion Ardente.
Doesn't necessarily translate directly into this game mode. We wanted to start fresh and do crazy new abilities.
Putain, je me demande comment ça
there's
marche.
going to be brand new abilities that
C'est
normally you
intéressant
wouldn't
quand même.
see on classes or characters in there. Because when you're thinking about
Le mec,
developing
qu'est-ce
a
qu'il bouge
warrior
en plus?
ability, you want it to feel very warrior-esque. Or you're developing a mage ability, you want it to feel mage-esque. Well, this, you don't have a class. You're actually going to be building a brand new kit every single time you're going into a match. And your builds may vary match to match because it all depends on what drops for you in the match. Even things like auto attack doesn't work like how it works normally in WoW. It's going to be an active ability that you're constantly using to attack enemies. One thing that's just baked into your experience is that you're going to have a health pop that's always persistent.
C'est un truc de ouf quand
And
même.
we've
C'est pas mal, hein.
slimmed down the UI compared to what World of Warcraft normally is. You may be used to the 12 buttons on your main action bar, and then you have a bunch of other
En fait, c'est une
action
sorte de
bars
League of
you can enable.
Legends.
Well, this actually only
C'est un truc de
has
ouf quand même, hein.
7 total buttons
C'est
that
pas
you
mal,
can
hein.
press on an action bar. When you loot an item, it doesn't go to your bag. You don't have a separate frame that you're opening. Everything gets put directly onto your action bars, and then from there, that's also your spells. So you're able to cast spells, drop abilities, pick
J'ai un
up
bon
abilities,
feeling
all
sur
to
ça.
one singular action bar without needing to manage anything else. So we've
J'ai
really
un bon
streamlined and
feeling.
simplified the experience.
That whole thing, I think, ends up feeling just wildly different than the way World of Warcraft plays right now. And not only is it action-oriented combat, but you're grabbing your abilities from the ground and then putting them on your bar. You can swap the 4 different abilities as you find new and cool things.
Alors, j'enlève juste les sous-titres une seconde pour que vous voyez un petit peu l'interface. Vous avez vu ou pas? L'interface, elle est comme ça. Ouais, vous avez le nuage magique, là, enfin le nuage toxique. Là, il est groupé avec un autre pirate. Oh, alors c'est rigolo. Si vous voyez, il a que 164 PV. Donc je ne sais pas comment les dégâts et ça va être possible, mais franchement les gars, je suis assez optimiste hein, par rapport à ça. Je trouve que c'est pas mal du tout. Hein. Eh Blizzard, chapeau, chapeau. Vous démenez là, hein, franchement, GG. Hein. Rien à dire.
Certain synergies
C'est
to
bien.
work really well
Proposer du
together.
contenu,
And
c'est
then there's
cool.
different rarities to the abilities too. So you can get everything from uncommon, rare, all the way up to epic levels of these abilities. You get higher level abilities as you progress in the match, but you may also just get one really
Là,
early in the
t'upgrades
match.
ton
Get
sort en
super
fait, c'est ce
lucked out,
qu'ils
you
avaient
get
dit juste avant. En
epic
fait.
fire whirl right at the very beginning, and then you can go and wreck some people. And that's one of the things I think that makes it super replayable. Not only do you get a kit of abilities that are always going to feel different in every match,
Oui,
but
c'est un
also
jeu à
how
part.
the
Par
power
contre, pour
curve
le
changes
moment,
is also
alors
going to feel pretty.
Alors Raph, ouais, pour le moment, il semblerait que pour le moment c'est temporaire, mais je pense que s'il y a de la hype par rapport à ça, ils vont le garder, le jeu. Donc il va falloir bombarder les réseaux sociaux, bombarder les forums, Twitter, etc., tout ça, Twitch, pour leur dire que c'est de la bombe. Si c'est bien, hein, si le mode il est bien, si le jeu il est bien, c'est de la merde, bah, c'est de la merde. Hein, mais si c'est bien, il faut... Voilà quoi, ça pourrait être un jeu à part entière, ça peut être bien.
Pretty different every match too.
Yeah,
qu'on
you
en
know,
a
we've
besoin.
experimented around with.
On a besoin d'un jeu à part entière. Pourquoi? Parce qu'il y a une frustration liée au PVP. Pourquoi? Liée à la file d'attente. En fait, à chaque fois que tu veux PVP ou quoi que ce soit dans WoW, tu dois rentrer dans une file d'attente. Il n'y a pas forcément de PVP sauvage ou quoi que ce soit. Et c'est frustrant en fait, tu dois tout le temps attendre, attendre, attendre. Et là en fait, si tu peux directement jouer, lancer une partie pas de stuff, battle stuff, etc., ça peut être vraiment cool en fait. C'est-à-dire que tu te casses pas la tête, là t'as pas besoin de créer un personnage, t'arrives, tu lances ton pirate qui est niveau 1 comme tout le monde, et tu récupères des sorts en fonction de ce que tu tues comme mob, ou ce que tu ramasses comme trésor, ou s'il y a d'autres panoplies pour récupérer des sorts que j'ai pas encore compris parce que là il reste 6 minutes de vidéo, ça va être sympathique, ça va être fortement sympathique même.
A lot of different spells and abilities, things that normally we couldn't do in World of Warcraft, and that's intentional as well.
Pardon,
We want
je
to make
remets
sure that when
une seconde avant.
spells and abilities, things that normally we couldn't do in World of Warcraft,
Ok.
and that's intentional as well. We want to make sure that when we're coming up with these brand
Parce que
new
ce qui est bien,
abilities,
c'est que
that
t'as
they
pas
feel
besoin d'être
fresh,
d'une
they
classe
feel
quoi. Après moi j'aimerais bien
awesome to
récupérer des
press.
sorts de
It's not
paladin, vous
just
me connaissez.
about the
Hein.
min-max, but sometimes it's about the impact, the oh man, I'm using an ability and this is just the most awesome ability I've ever seen. That's the type of stuff we want to inspire players to kind of jump into the next match and find even more cool stuff.
And you can strategize. One of the reasons why I like playing duos is because it almost feels like you get twice as many abilities, and you can strategize. You're going to be the fire pirate, and I'm going to be the arcanosphere pirate.
So do solo players and duo players play together?
So the way it works is we
Ok.
have all duos.
Donc ça c'est bien, c'est-à-dire que les personnes en duo resteront en fait dans un lobby en bio et les personnes solo en solo. Bon, après le team-up pourra se faire certainement si justement en fait dans une partie solo vous pouvez toujours jouer avec d'autres personnes entre guillemets, mais bon à la fin il en restera qu'un seul, vous savez bien comment ça marche quoi. Mais ça va arriver, ça c'est sûr.
A match and all solos in a match. Duos, you can also, preform a party with a friend and be able to get into the match with them.
Mais c'est cool.
I think that it would end up being a little unfair to have solo players on the battlefield with duo players because duo players are coordinating, they're coordinating their spells and abilities. We made it really easy to use the ping system in-game so that it's really easy for you to communicate even if you're not talking with your partner. So they would already have an advantage, and we wouldn't want to disadvantage our solo player like that. I think that Duos also has the revive mechanic too, which is super cool, especially if you're a player that dies first, like I tend to.
Me too. We
Your
shouldn't be
partner
on the
can
same
come
team
and
then.
revive you.
Well, no, that would be good.
Hâte de voir Herval en
if
Battle
your
Royale, ouais, ça
partner
pourrait être cool. Hein.
you are able to revive them, but you're not reviving them the normal way you would revive a player in WoW. So you don't need to press any extra buttons or collect any spells or items that do this. This is actually just something that is kind of baked into the experience. That if you die, you'll have a ring around you. Your partner can stand on you.
Bon les gars,
and then
c'est
you'll
le
get
truc
revived
qui
and
va
able
être
to play the
streamé
game
le
again. Normally in World of
plus dans
Warcraft, when
WoW
your
dans
character
les prochains
dies,
jours.
you're looking at your
C'est pas
character's
aujourd'hui ou demain.
corpse and seeing a release button on there. Well, with Plunderstorm, we knew that you wouldn't be able to release. So what are you going to be
Ouais,
doing?
ça fait un
Looking at
carton.
your corpse the whole time? Well, the engineers
Tout le monde va jouer à ça les gars.
got together
Tout le monde
and
va
they
jouer à ça
decided,
pendant
hey,
quelques jours.
let's add spectating mode to this. So once you die, you can actually spectate your teammate until you're either revived or, unfortunately, you're eliminated. And
Mais ils se sont donnés à fond là. Vous vous rendez compte, ils ont fait un mode spectateur. Putain, et ils se sont donnés à fond.
then once your team is eliminated, you can spectate anybody on the entire map. So we wanted to really make sure that we're kind of introducing new things in WoW that normally wouldn't exist in, Dragonflight or in Classic or another.
C'est grave nul.
version of WoW.
C'est vrai.
And make this pretty unique to Plunderstorm. There's other things that we kind of broke the rules on too, which was there's no fall damage.
Il n'y a pas de dégâts, ça c'est
Everyone
nul.
can
ça.
double jump.
Everyone can double jump.
Double
And
jump.
Just
people
things
love
that we
it.
thought were fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
These are things that we can't
Salut
do in
Herval.
Warcraft.
Bah écoute, on regarde
and that's
on regarde
intentional
le Battle
because that's
Royale là.
built around a very
Regarde ce
different
que ça donne.
experience. But here we said,
Ça a l'air
we
d'être cool,
love
Fearless.
WoW's combat, but we want to change up how you interact with WoW's combat. And we wanted to not only make it different for fighting other players, but also fighting monsters. All the monsters have a different type of abilities that they're going to be able to attack you with.
Les
These
ogres
aren't
mages,
your
les
normal
gars.
just auto attack abilities whenever a mob, gets on you. These are going to be actually telegraphed abilities that you're going to see, cast in front of the monster and be able to sidestep it.
Okay.
So there's actual mechanics tied to all of the monsters that are in the match.
Oh, un
as well.
élémentaire
Like
de gold.
everything has
C'est
become kind of
rigolo.
more action-oriented combat, and that's one of the things we can accomplish when it's all encapsulated within an event.
On top of that, I think a really cool part of this mode is that there's multiple layers of how you play it. So there's not only the spell acquisition, which we talked about, but also you're leveling
Monter
through
en
this
niveau.
experience as well. You're getting more health,
Plus de points
and
de
you
vie.
want to get that so that you hopefully by the end of the match have enough level under your belt and enough items under your belt that you can come out on top.
I want to know what rewards can I get from Plunderstorm because I'm a
Oh.
huge collector and there's got to be something cool. It's plunder after all.
Oh yeah, no, we've got a ton of rewards, a ton of
Des rewards.
intentionally pirate-themed rewards coming your way in Plunderstorm.
Voilà, il est pas sur
There's
classique.
40
hein.
renown levels that you can get with Keg Legs Crew, which seems like a lot, but you're going to zip through them pretty quickly. We want this to feel super, super rewarding, so expect to get a renown level, every 4 or 5 matches, at least a renown level a day for even your casual gamer. Every renown level that you level up has a reward associated with it. Everything that you unlock in this mode is also going to unlock in your transmog set for all of your main World of Warcraft characters. And then there's a couple of classic rewards in there as well. If you're a
Classic.
World of Warcraft classic player, you can get a pet and a mount from this.
Is there anything you're doing to make Plunderstorm fair
Une
for all
monture,
players?
classique.
One of the things we started discussing early on was whether or not we would support add-ons or try to put the majority of the information players were looking for in the game world and in the mode.
Yeah, World of Warcraft players are some of the smartest players in the world, and we're super excited for our players to check this out. One thing that we knew, though, is that we wanted a level playing field for all players to be able to play with. Third-party add-ons are awesome, and they're super cool to see, and what the community comes up with is amazing. But for this, we really wanted everybody to have the same exact experience.
Ouais, c'est ça en
which
fait, c'est que
also
tout le
made
monde
it
va avoir les
challenging
mêmes outils,
to
les mêmes
make the
stuff, les mêmes
event as
règles, les
well,
mêmes sorts,
because we need to make
entre
everything
guillemets les
super
mêmes sorts, le
obvious.
même style de
When you're
jeu.
casting
Ça sera aléatoire
spells
quoi.
or
Chaque
you're
partie sera
attacking
différente.
enemies, those things, we won't have any assistance from any other add-ons.
Bon, c'est bien.
So we need to make the game really streamlined and approachable in that way.
We've really spent extra time iterating on the UI and the UX, the visual effects
Ça a
of the
l'air,
game
en
to
tout
make
cas.
sure everything is as clear as possible.
Is Plunderstorm a recurring event?
We're really looking forward to seeing what players
Voilà,
think
c'est ce
of
que
this
je vous
event.
disais.
It's a brand new thing for us. It's super unique and cool and different.
Si c'est bien les
And
gars, faudra
depending
les
on player
encourager quoi.
feedback, we will see what the future of Plunderstorm looks like. We would love to bring it back in some form. If you like Plunderstorm, please get on the forums, please get on social media. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you would like to see in a future iteration of it. I think importantly, now that we've got all this great backbone tech set up for creating these sort of in-game events, we can definitely look forward to making more in the future. So let us know what you think.
Ouais, ça change. Hein.
Feedback is super important for us. It's actually something that we take very seriously.
Bah, si c'est un
not
mode
only,
de jeu à part
externally,
entière et que ça
but
peut
also internally.
plaire, ça
And
peut
we
être,
want
ça
to
peut
make
être
sure
bien
this
quoi.
is a fun experience. So just like Jeremy said, get on the forums, get on social media.
Ouais.
Let us know what you think.
I am so excited to play Plunderstorm, and I'm sure all of you are as well. Thank you
Est-ce qu'il y
so
a des gens
much for
qui ont
joining
joué
me.
déjà?
Thanks,
Est-ce qu'il y a des
Bethany. It
gens
was
qui
great to
jouent
be
à
here, and
Plunderstorm
we
là,
will
tout de suite?
see you in the Plunderstorm.
Oh my gosh, see you guys next time.
Est-ce qu'il y a des gens qui jouent là? Est-ce qu'il y a des gens qui ont déjà testé? Moi qui suis avant tout le lore, j'ai l'impression d'avoir enfin un event qui permet mon gameplay, qui me motive. Ça sent bon, je pense. Nanana. Qu'avec le départ, nanana, rachat, Microsoft, curiosité. Bon. Bah écoutez les gars, ça a l'air d'être pas trop mal. Hein. Bon alors.